come to take any disease in or to come and infect anybody.
But there are those who have said that the continuous sanitization of the BVRs will weaken it. I mean, how do you respond to that?
It has been tested by the suppliers. So once they say it works, for me, I can't sit and say that weaken it. Because we have taken them through all the protocols that we are putting in place.
Okay. And
they have commanded that do it this way and that. So the suppliers are saying it will not be a challenge. So I can't sit there and say it to be a challenge.
And the start of the registration is based on scientific advice.
Exactly.
From the health experts.
That means that we have met the national committee. I've mentioned their names so you can verify from them. I mentioned Dr. Mensah, Professor Dujanfi, and Dr. Batinba. So if you can talk to them that this is what the health committee is saying, they will certify.
But you're convinced that you will start the registration late June.
Exactly.
That is, let's say from 25th to 31st.
I have not put a date on it.
No, but late June begins. Let's say 25th to June.
So let's start from 23rd to 30th of June. We will have started.
So that is Dr. Sribo Kweku there. I want to bring in a virologist and researcher with the KCCR, also with the KNUST, Dr. Michael Owusu, on the measures that you just announced there. You just head there from the Electoral Commission. Doc, thank you for your time here on News 9.
Thank you very much, Evans.
Just what I want to answer that, you had the protocols, the safety protocols that the EC announced, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Is it adequate?
Yes, so good evening to all your listeners. I think it's quite laudable to hear that the Electoral Commission is working closely with the public health officials to roll out plan to do this. It's also quite encouraging to hear that this will be done on a pilot basis for them to assess how this whole event will go. So, first of all, having a pre-triaging area, which is what I think they said, if I heard him clearly, with some health officials who will take temperatures of those who come in with thermometer guns. And then at least they also have some veridical buckets for people to wash their hands and sanitize their hands. And then after that, then they will also demarcate areas where there will be social distancing for people to adhere to this. I think that having this place is the way to go. And this could also inform us as to how the actual elections will be. I think once we are able to enforce this will go well with that. But then what I did not hear from him is that how to assess the place. Ideally, you will want to see a well-ventilated area, and not a closed classroom where people may move in. And also, you want to place a cap on how many people you want to register at a time. If the place is such that you wouldn't accommodate more than 100 or 200 people, you want to space this and have maybe 20 people registering at a time, well spaced. And once they are done, then the others can flow in. And then also, I did not seem to hear how they will protect the vulnerable, the elderly people, and those who are physically challenged, because the elderly are the most vulnerable. So it would be very good if the elderly people will be allowed to undertake their exercise before the middle groups come in, so we can protect the elderly people and those who are physically challenged and not bundle them together and then create problems for them.
Okay, so from a purely public health point of view, and also reducing the risks associated with a possible further spread, these measures, as we've just had announced, will do the job.
Yes, so theoretically, it sounds very good, and it looks like if this is implemented, it's going to work. But then, as you already have seen over the few couple of months, when these measures are announced, when it comes to implementing this, it becomes something different. This is why it's good to pilot this at few places, observe how things will go, identify the challenges, and then fix these challenges. Then you can roll up and add additional sites. If you don't pilot this and you go, you the mass level, you risk having problems that will be finding difficult. It's just like the mask. When the mask was announced, it took some time, over 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, for people to be used to the fact that they have to put on masks and make it a daily affair. So gradually, Guardians are becoming used to these precautions. And I think it's good that we pilot this on a gradual basis to see how this will flow before we generalize this to the entire population.
Okay. Thank you very much. And talk to me about Parliament, because today we know the MPs have been being tested compulsorily. there are rumors, some may have it, that has been denied. Of course, the leadership itself, I'm not agreeing on this. The minority whip says that's not true. In fact, 2 MPs have tested positive. The majority leader says, well, I don't know, because it's only the MPs who have been told their statuses. There are those who have also suggested, in the wake of all this, simply close Parliament for 2 weeks. Is that something that you side with?
Yes, I agree with those who be calling, who are calling for this. And if this is confirmed to be true, and because Parliament is such an important environment that all of us will have to protect and ensure that we don't allow active transmission of the virus in this area, and also to understand that there are quite a number of parliamentarians who are have advanced age, which will mean that we have some vulnerable groups in there. So ideally, if you want to follow through the Ghana surveillance strategy, that when you identify a case, you want to list all the cases, and then you also want to list all the contacts of the cases. And once you succeed in doing that, the next is to close that place and adequately disinfect the area to ensure that the place is free of any form of viruses or maybe some droplets that may be deposited unconsciously at this area. So I think that, yes, if this is confirmed and we are sure that these cases, have participated in 1 or 2 activities within the environment, then at least for the safety of our dear parliamentarians, it would be very good that we close this immediately, disinfect the place, and put in measures to ensure that we don't we reduce transmission, or if possible, identify people who have cases before they move it. And then also to do it, even in the U.S. White House, they are using this rapid diagnostic test which can deliver in minutes. So ideally, for a place like Parliament, you will want that those who enter in once every week should be screened with a rapid diagnostic test that can deliver results within just about 10 to 15 minutes. So it's not just a one thing. Somebody can be negative today, in a week or 2 weeks, that the person can be positive. Because of the highly vulnerable populations which are there, at least if you can do screening or testing with RGT to assess or to know people's status before they join the meeting, at least once every week, it will go a long way to help us so we don't put many people at risk within this closed environment.
I'm grateful. That is Dr. Michael Owusu there. And to Parliament now, to that controversy he just addressed, because today the Speaker, Professor Michael Quay, says Parliament will not be in a hurry to disclose the COVID-19 status of any member. At least 2 MPs and 30 members of Parliament or the Parliamentary Service staff have reportedly tested positive for the virus. Earlier, Director of Public Affairs in Parliament, Keitado, and the minority leader, Mensah, who told the news conference, this was yesterday, the Parliament was yet to receive confirmation of any positive test.
I want to tell all of us that the tests were done and the results were going to be, or are going to be, confidential. The protocol is that if you are testing, if you test positive, you will receive a phone call from the National Response Team, and the team will inform you of your status, and then you follow the necessary arrangements for quarantining and then for access to medication. We haven't received any information that any member of Parliament or any staff has got any such call. Therefore, it is putting matters ahead of their schedule.
Now, that is Keitado. She speaks for Parliament and addressing a press briefing yesterday. But today, the minority chief whip, Muntaka Mubarak, told Daniel Dadzi on the Prime Morning on the Joy Prime channel that the status of each of the 2 MPs and 13 parliamentary service staff had been communicated to them with contact tracing already underway.
Serve the national interest, just don't do it. I can bet and tell you that was a lie. It's a big lie. Said by the majority leader in the head of public affairs of Parliament. That's why I tell you that I really wish I didn't have the opportunity to answer this or to be asked this question. What happened in Parliament and what you've heard that was being said is the fact, is the truth. What happened? The understanding was that not all MPs and staff have tested. Okay. So are we going to create this panic so that the few that are left to test will not go forward to test? Or we are going to find a way of getting everybody that will know the scope of our challenge and how to deal with it? Definitely, I agree with that. But when the information goes out, if you ask me, how will I have communicated and responded to that?
And we'll hear from the majority leader himself, who will be speaking on PM Express in the yet-to-be-aired interview tonight on this particular subject. Now, his point, though, in that interview that you hear from 9 p.m. on the Joy News channel, is that he didn't say that it was a lie that some members of parliament had tested positive, that he simply cannot tell. He doesn't know if whether or not anybody had tested positive or negative, because the protocol is that the results are only communicated to the MPs themselves. And so it will only be the MPs themselves who could tell their status. You want to join us at 9 p.m. for all that. Also today, the Speaker says Parliament will not be in a hurry to disclose the COVID-19 statuses of MPs because it will encourage stigmatization.
It's very clear from our discussions this morning that you cannot unilaterally put into the public realm that a person is positive. Let everyone know this. Let every lady and gentleman, every person know this in this republic. And it has been well stated in this honorable house. You cannot unilaterally put in the public realm that a person is positive. It is only for an individual to voluntarily put it in the public realm. And we are all learning from this as decent and honorable people. And this honorable house will follow that kind of example. That is our public duty. And if you allow me to quote from what Honorable Dr. Kulboy said, we should show that we are not in a hurry to disclose names worthy of a headline. And it is my view that such sensationalism where it's going on must stop. Because they rather encourage stigmatization. When you sensationalize news, you encourage what? Stigmatization. And I think we have had a very useful exercise. Thank you very much, honorable members. And this brings us to the end of statement.
So they are your members of parliament. I mean, there's one school of thought that says, well, because they are members of parliament and we employ them, we deserve to know their health status and the whatever outcome is there after they've tested, they've been tested. Do you agree with that school of thought, or you agree with the Speaker that that should be left to the MP himself to disclose? Do you feel entitled to know the COVID-19 status of your member of parliament now that they've been tested? I want to hear from you. 0244-340-437. Joseph Opoku-Gakpo is our parliamentary correspondent, joins us on the telephone line right now. Joseph, what's the talk among the members of parliament? We are hearing from some of them who are saying, in the midst of all this controversy about positives, no positives, negative, no negative, simply close down parliament for 2 weeks. We've heard from the health expert already say that is something that is worth considering, and he backs that position. Give us a sense of what the MPs themselves are saying.
To quote the Director of Public Affairs here in Parliament at a media briefing yesterday, some form of panic has set in here in Parliament following the claims that some MPs have reported positive when it comes to the test for COVID-19. In the conversations, a number of them are worried about the chances of possible spread, and you would know that despite the limitation on the gathering of members of the public, MPs are sitting to the extent that when the full house is in session, although we've not seen the full house showing up at any point in time for quite a while now, up to 275 people can sit at a go, and that's what has been happening in Parliament. So more like a very crowded space with no adequate spacing. So MPs are very much worried. Right on the floor of the House, MPs like Joseph Yilechire, as well as Samuel Kujota Blakwa, expressed concern about how Parliament has communicated in the last 24 hours when it comes to the statuses of those who've tested positive as a result of COVID-19. In fact, with the tests that were done, we gathered 690 samples were actually taken, and the claim is that the results about positivity is coming out of the samples that were taken on, Wednesday and Thursday, with that of Friday being outstanding. So even if there are further numbers, that's very much possible. For some MPs like Kwame Abuja and Ras Mubarak, who is the MP for Kumbungu, it's about time that Parliament suspended sitting at least for 2 weeks, because as Mr. Mubarak claims, there is no urgent business that the House is dealing with, hence the need for MPs to go home until maybe some fumigation is done, and that maybe those who are testing positive self-isolate and all before MPs can return to work.
I look at today's order paper, for instance, presentation of papers.
Nothing COVID-19 related.
Nothing COVID-19 related. You know, you've got Education Regulatory Bill 2019. So that's just about it.
And so for you, all of this can wait for at least 2 weeks when
all of this can wait for about 2 weeks. You know, the visa waivers. I mean, the committee could be dealing with it whilst the House is on break. You know, I mean, just take a look at the order paper for today. I don't see anything that is of urgent nature to warrant members of Parliament to continue to expose themselves to the dangers of coming into contact with persons who may have COVID-19.
Well, Joseph is still with me, and the view there, as you've heard articulated by Ras Mubarak, there are others also who hold that same view. But Joseph, this controversy that we've heard because of the alleged positive status of the two MPs, the disagreement between the minority whip, who says, Mensah, who is a majority leader, lied because it's true that two members have positive. Mensah's position is that, and as he's expressed in a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Express later tonight, he says, I simply don't know, because only the MPs know their statuses. Nobody else does. Even I, the leadership, can know. You've spoken to Mensah Mubarak after he made those comments on the Prime Morning today. Did he tell you how he knew the statuses of these two MPs?
He makes the point that for them at the level of those who are the whips, because they are those who are in charge of welfare issues when it comes to development here in Parliament, and as far as MPs are concerned, there was an earlier conversation around keeping whatever results that may emerge under wraps until they are done with the final batch of testing here in Parliament. You know, after the 3 days of testing that was done last week, there are additional 2 days of testing that are happening tomorrow and Friday. And Mensah Mubarak says there was a conversation among leadership that any possible disclosures would happen after the final batch are done. That was on Friday. But he makes the point that after there was a leakage of a source, as far as the testing of some of the details of MPs and staff are concerned, he didn't find a reason to continue more of a cover-up. He says that for them at the level of leadership, some of those details have gone to them. And he broke down the details and said that with regards to the 13 staff and 2 MPs, on the samples that were taken on Wednesday, 1 MP tested positive and also 1 staff tested positive. And the samples that were taken on Thursday, that's where we have the 13 cases involving one MP and 12 members of staff. So he makes the point that those are details that get to them at the level of leadership, although the specific names of the individuals and also their specific identities don't get to them. They need to sign things like leave of absence forms for those who are members of parliament and a general communication on how the House is faring with the results that are being done are things that come to them at the level of leadership. And so that's how come he, as minority chief OAP, has gotten to know the specific details on the numbers, although he is unaware of the specific identities of who those 15 people are.
And this call to shut down Parliament, I'm told that the Parliamentary Public Service, they've been addressing this. What is the position there?
First of all, let me begin with Mensah Mubarak, the minority chief's position on that. He thinks that that's a decision that can only be taken after the final batch of testing is done here in Parliament on Friday. For example, he puts a threshold to it and says, if in the end it's found out that more than 100 people in the House have tested positive, and so it's virtually impossible to say none of those have actually interacted with virtually everyone else here in Parliament, then it will be reasonable enough to actually close down Parliament. But for him, if we see a situation where the number of final positive cases is quite less, and it's possible to identify how often those who are testing have been in the House, and it's possible to get them to self-isolate and all, then it may not be necessary to close down the House. But the Director of Public Affairs here in Parliament, Keith Addo, explains that this is something that leadership will actually meet. She says they meet virtually on a daily basis and discuss issues having to do with Parliament. And so an expected meeting will discuss this for a final decision to be taken. And from what I gather, tomorrow morning is when one of those major meetings will be happening. They call it the business committee meeting, at which the leadership of the House decides the agenda for the House for the week ahead. And the expected meeting is tomorrow morning around 9 a.m., by which we expect that any major decision on that will be taken.
Joseph, thank you very much. Now, there's a legal question also, now that the debate has started about whether or not to disclose the status of the MPs. The Speaker's position is clear that won't happen unless the MPs themselves decide to give it out. Is there a legal injunction there, but does that also overrule the people's right to know? Because as some have interpreted, we are employing them and we must know. Let's speak to private legal practitioner Martin Kwebu. Mr. Kwebu, where do you stand on that question?
Yeah, the disclosure can be made depending on certain circumstances. Okay, so number one, naturally, if somebody tests positive, I understand from the experts, okay, you know, there are medical doctors who are experts in this field, I mean, in terms of the legal aspect of it as well. And they've shown that naturally, those who are very close to the MPs who are exposed would have to be informed, you know, as part of the contact tracing. And matter of fact, your producer who called me alluded to that. So the disclosure is being done on a need-to-know basis. So, Evans, do I understand you to me when you mean disclosure, you want it announced to the whole nation that MPA has this COVID-19?
Yeah, that's what. Yes, the point has been made that that's necessary.
Oh, that's the one that, to be candid, is slippery. So it's not a one-size-fits-all answer. So the point is that if, let's say, the MP is in Accra here, he has no chances of meeting somebody in, let's say, Agzi or Zuarungu, Boko, and so on and so forth. I don't know what the disclosure would do for such a person. You say, so they say in terms of the closeness, there are 4 categories. Category 1 and 2, those are the close persons. Those persons, it can be disclosed to. But if you have no business with the MP, there's no chance of he coming to your side of town at all. Really, the case for disclosure is not made out.
But what about the argument that because he's a public servant and he is the employee of us all citizens, that consideration has to vary, because if he's positive, he is going to be away for at least 2 weeks minimum. when he's away, he can't serve me. They say, well, the constituents have a right to know why he can't serve me during that period.
Good. So it's a very salient point. So let me repeat this. You remember when I started, I said that there are some who are in favor. They are grounding it on Article 18 of the Constitution. If you look at 18.1, you are looking at issues of public health. Okay? Yes, so they have the point. But what we lack now in this particular circumstance is that somehow we don't have a Supreme Court decision on it. So what I'm agreeing to is that, yes, you can make an argument based on what you said, that for the public health emergency, and actually it's also provided for in the patient's charter in terms of such emergencies, disclosure can be made. So people can make that argument. But I told you, asking my personal opinion, and that's why I've said that, look, I would rather go with the classification of those who are close in terms of the contact tracing. You say it. So there are two schools of thought. You want to go with the Constitution, you want to go with the patient's charter. Yes, you can make an argument for disclosure. But because they also have their privacy at stake, then another school will call for a pragmatic approach to it that, look, if they are not going to be going to some places, we don't need to disclose to the whole country.
Thank you very much, Martin Kwebu. Where do you stand? I'll share with you your thoughts on this very soon. Now, quickly, Ministers for Information, Defense and Foreign Affairs are among more than 20 Ghanaian ministers of state who were impersonated by two Nigerians on social media to make money. Now, Vivian Sadija Amran and her husband Prince Joel, both Nigerian nationals, used names and photographs of the Ghanaian ministers to create multiple Facebook accounts, pretending to recruit people into state agencies. Vivian is in police custody, while her husband is on the run. Head of our security desk, Gifty Andopia, has more on this. Gifty, what more do we know?
What we know is that she's a 31-year-old trader, and together with her husband, they create the Facebook pages, and then they put them in the names of these Ghanaians from their home in Asham and a suburb called Jericho. From those accounts, they managed to reach several people by promising them jobs in state agencies, including Tema Oil Refinery, Ghana Gas Company, and Cocoa Board. They engage you in online chats and phone calls and ask you to pay money for processing and registration, and that's how they make the money. But then the national security operatives tracked them after they received complaints from some of the ministers mentioned, and then they were traced to their home where they were searched. And they found 6 mobile phones, 3 mobile money numbers that were in connection with this transaction. They have been charged with 8 counts of falsely pretending to be public officers and false pretenses. Vivian is in police custody, her husband, because after she was arraigned, and it's yet to meet her bail conditions set by the Accra Circuit Court, presided over by His Honor Emmanuel Isando. Her husband Joel is on the run, but the national security operatives are warning Ghanaians to be more careful. Okay, and I noticed that Kojo Ponkruma, Barbara Tinjesi, who else? So there is Barbara Tinjesi, there's Minister for Creative Tourism, Creative Arts and Culture. That's Barbara. Shelley Aikoboche, Minister for Foreign Affairs. There's Henry Quartey, Deputy Minister for National Security, and Dominic Nitiwu, Minister for Defense. They were among those who were frequently used by these two people. Please, we're doing this so that you bear in mind that people would attempt to use these names to try and dupe you. Just be alert. And there's some good news story quickly we need to touch on, because the Immigration Service, again, some Nigerians attempted to bribe them, right, as they attempted to cross into Ghana illegally. Yes. They arrested them and they rejected the bribe. Yes, they rejected the bribe. Well, what we're being told is that the borders are shut. President Akufo-Addo has not lifted the restrictions yet, and people still keep coming in. So we're told that about 3 of them today tried to cross over, and when they were arrested, they tried to bribe the immigration officers with I've forgotten that amount, but some amount in dollars. They tried to bribe them with it, and they rejected the bribe. So those people have been arrested and are being processed as well. Gifty, thank you very much. Still ahead here on News Night, many former MPs beg for handouts for survival as Majority Leader call for pension scheme for members of Parliament.
The next thing you hear is that it's coming, it's calling you, please do something for me, otherwise it's bad. And it's from all sides. They still call you? They still call me. Asking for what? Handouts? Asking for survival. Some actually regret. Many of them regret.
We tell you why Chief Mensah is pushing for a review of ex gratia payments in a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Express on the Joy News channel later tonight at 9 p.m.
Hello.
Why you bed?
It's 5 a.m. Of course I bed. Lockdown.
Guy, some series that they watch for Netflix. Too much.
You woke up to comment.
Which can wake up? I've been watching from last night too.
you have data, eh?
Vodafone Adaroma. The too much bundles. Now be too much. See, Jock, make an ad screen to the Skype call, then buy you guys a story.
Too much data is now double the data at the same price. So you can stay home and stay connected on Vodafone with too much data for the day and too much bonus from midnight till 4 a.m. That's double Ankasa. Terms and conditions apply. Dial *700#. Subscribe now.
Ready? It is hard to come to terms with the pain of losing a loved one, not to mention the financial burden that comes with funerals. The day we will be called to eternity, we do not know. But with Old Mutual Life, you can be prepared for this inevitable eventuality. Our Transition Plus plan, a special life insurance policy developed with 175 years of insurance experience, very low monthly premiums, and a lump sum payout of up to 70,000 Ghana cedis. All premium payments end after 15 years, but you still enjoy the life cover. Get a cashback of 10% of all premiums paid every 3 years. Reach us now on 050-1533-745. Apply now and get covered. Old Mutual. Do great things every day.
George Afri joins me with business. Hello, George. Hi, Evans. And coming up in business, the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry hints of finalizing 3 billion cedis stimulus package for industries. And it's working from home, the new order, as we assess the future of work because of the coronavirus. We hear the thoughts of a labor economist. The business news on Newsnight is brought to you by MTN Business. Welcome to the new world of business. Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one stop shop for all your office essentials. And First National Bank, we are the bank that understands your business. First National Bank, how can we help you? Remember, it has been 25 years of joy in supporting those burdened entrepreneurs out there. Let's now settle for the details. The National Chamber of Commerce and Industry has hinted that plans are far advanced to actually launch a 3 billion cedi stimulus package that will be soon rolled out by government for large-scale industries. President of the Chamber, Apioje Danka, also have been given more details about this initiative at a virtual program hosted by the Chamber today.
Plans have been made to activate the dedicated loan for the large enterprises, which is very welcoming. In spite of the hardships inflicted on the Ghanaian economy by the COVID-19 pandemic and its associated restrictions, it has also presented us with a unique opportunity to address the structure of the Ghanaian economy from an import-dependent to an export-led economy.
President of the National Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Nana Dr. Apioje Danka Woso. Now, labor economist Professor Boateng says it might be difficult to fully implement a work-from-home program even after the COVID-19 is firmly put under control. And this is coming at a time that majority of global firms have announced that they are going to allow their staff to work from home for the rest of the year. Professor Boateng tells Joy Business not all sectors in the country can implement this, looking at the current dynamics of the economy.
And therefore, if the infrastructure that will allow firms to go in that direction are not there, then in the medium term, you realize that as the pandemic goes away, we realize that firms will want to look at other means that will make them maximize their operation. So it depends actually on a particular country and the type of infrastructure that we have. You agree with me that even in the education sector, in the university, where we are trying to teach online, many students are struggling because where they are, they cannot even get very stable internet access. Even faculty are not able to get very stable internet access. And therefore, if everything normalizes, you realize that universities will then want to still go back to the old norm so long as the infrastructure that will permit them to go online are not there. So it depends on the condition that we find ourselves. And remember, Ghana's labor market and economic structure is, arguably mostly informal.
And that is economist Professor Boateng. Now, more investors are still struggling to meet the Bank of Ghana's requirement in participating in its forex auction. Latest results showed that about $3 million worth of bids were declared as invalid. But what is causing this problem? There is more in the following Business Desk report.
A careful look at the auction report since the beginning of this year shows the number of bids that are rejected by the Bank of Ghana keeps increasing. The development again is worrying as to why this is happening, despite the fact that the central bank is always able to sell the amount of dollars that it makes available during the auction. The Bank of Ghana has rejected assertions that it is not accepting these bids because of limited dollar supply for the market. The central bank also argues that it would ensure that the forex goes to firms and investors that have put in the right bids. The regulator also does not think that it's depriving the market of the required dollar supply. The central bank recently in its dollar auction sold $25 million to investors and commercial banks. Majority of the bids came from firms that were looking for dollars that should be supplied in 7 days. The 18 bids were submitted for about $40 million, but the Bank of Ghana just offered $13 million. The results also showed that there is still high demand for dollars among the central banks.
And that is a Business Desk report. Now, Bank has given the firm assurance of offering every shareholder an opportunity to participate in its virtual annual general meeting. Now, the bank is expected to hold this gathering on June 24. There are already concerns about data challenges for shareholders and whether the bank may be able to form the legal basis for holding this meeting. But Head of Investor Relations, Jifa Amegachi, says there wouldn't be a challenge at all.
See, we could, if we wanted to be quorate, have an AGM with just the top 2 or 3 shareholders, but that would be totally undesirable for us as a bank. I think it would send absolutely the wrong message in terms of respect of minority shareholders' rights, and it would also be very unfair to retail shareholders. It's something that we have never ever considered. As directed by the Registrar General, we have sure that all shareholders can participate if they have a mobile device. And we feel that this is the most equitable solution to this issue in current times. We absolutely cannot guarantee that all 23,000 of our shareholders will participate, but we are giving the opportunity to any interested shareholder to participate in the event if they so wish and if they can join via a mobile device.
And that is Head of Investor Relations at Bank, Jifa Amegachi. It might be a good time to turn to the stock market, and 3 stocks witnessed decline in prices at the end of trading on the Ghana Stock Exchange. MTN was down by 2 pesos to close at 58 pesos. If you are a shareholder of GCB, it was down by a peso to close at 3 Ghana cedis, 38 pesos. Benso Oil Palm Plantation witnessed one of its biggest drop in value, that is 15 pesos, and it's now trading at 2 Ghana cedis, 50 pesos. And that's all for Business on Newsnight. Back to you, Evans Mensah.
George, thank you very much.
When you want it, just Momo it. When you tire for the long queue in the supermarket, just Momo it. And when you really want that beautiful new blouse too, just Momo it. And when you won't get that thing, when you go get fresh to impress, you know who, just Momo it. And when you need to pay that your utility bill and domestic staff set, just Momo it. And when you want send love to the family for back home, just Momo it. So many ways there. When you go use your MTN Momo wallet or make payments with scan to pay. When you go use the QR code, or you go use the merchant ID or on bank POS terminal. You go also transfer money between mobile money wallet and bank account, all on MTN Momo. Enjoy real convenience in all your financial transactions and live life the brighter way with MTN Momo. We are good together. Just Momo it. We're there for you everywhere you go.
Mr. Barr has big dreams for his business, Barr & Co. Limited, and his family, making them a reality man to long drives and queues. He's lost precious time struggling to pay his suppliers in China, Turkey, India, and other parts of the world. With the First National Bank global payment via our online banking enterprise, he now pays for all that in the convenience of his home or office, giving him time to focus on family and growing his business. Use our online banking enterprise to access Forex when you need it. It takes a bank that does more to help your family. So who's helping yours? First National Bank. How can we help you?
DSTV a young papa and Nuntina yet time machine, and we thank you for choosing to stay at home and save with us. Yet time machine, and Yema with discount when you top up your DSTV subscription. And you crow with kids educational channels like Mensah, Da Vinci, and the Ghana Learning Channel, as well as lots of kids entertainment and up to the minute news update on all the happenings across the world and home. Plus our captivating local and international drama, thrilling series and movies, all in one place. To get your discount, just top up your same or preferred subscription using MTN Momo, Vodacash, Slide Pay, Express Pay, eTransact, or your banking app, or SMS *389*5# and *759#, and we will upgrade you to the next package at no extra cost. Yes, that's easy. Onyankupadie and Noani DSTV. DSTV, yet time machine.
But the best, we stay above the rest. More quality, more affordability. Kingdom Boost and stationery. Everybody's going to the one and only shop where customer satisfaction is a guarantee. Kingdom Boost and stationery.
Oh yes, with our 30 days credit facility with no interest charge, free delivery services, and our free consultation on setting up your office, Kingdom Books and Stationery is unmatched in our delivery of quality and affordable office essentials, equipment, and furniture.
Experience world-class customer service in all our branches in Accra, Tema, Kumasi, Cape Coast, and Takoradi.
Call us on 0302-764-101
or visit our website at www.kingdomgh.com.
Kingdom Books and Stationery, your number one-stop shop for all office essentials and stationery. Terms and conditions apply.
Arise, Ghana youth, for your country.
The National Service Scheme has begun processing prospective national service personnel for deployment to various sectors across the country. The scheme invites MMDAs, ministries, departments and agencies, educational institutions, hospitals, security agencies, and private corporate organizations, and those interested in hosting service personnel in the 2020-21 service year to put in a formal request to the Secretariat. User agencies can also log on to the NSS website www.nss.gov.gh to submit requests for personnel. User agencies must also attach the names, email addresses, and contact numbers of two officials to their request. Agencies with special needs are advised to contact the NSS Secretariat for discussions. All requests must reach the headquarters of the National Service Scheme before the 30th of June 2020. For more information, please visit www.nss.gov.gh. National Service, service to the nation.
Everyone needs a partner who will be there through the good times and tough times. We are that partner, and we appreciate your loyalty. At GoTV, we always have your back. That's why we're giving you a free upgrade on your next package. Simply stay connected and get upgraded to the next higher package at no cost. Annual upgrade at no cost. Stay home, stay safe, and stay remotely connected with MTN Momo, Vodafone Cash, Slide Pay, Express Pay, eTransact, or your banking application, or *389*5# and *759#, and we will connect you with non-stop family mix entertainment on BET, Africa Magic Family, Rock 2 and 3, Telemundo, News, Trace Jama, and an array of kids learning and fun channels to wow you. Thank you for being our loyal partner. Stay entertained. GoTV's got your back.
It's still live here on News Night. It's on Joy 99.7 FM, and Hans Mensah is here with sports. Hello, Hans. It's been a while.
Yeah. How did Manchester United do it?
We're doing well.
I understand you returned £28 million to broadcasters because of COVID-19 and the fact that...
And 28 million for Manchester United is nothing. Absolutely.
I know that.
Yeah.
Now, Executive Council member of the Ghana Football Association, Samuel Inimado, has called on government and Corporate Ghana to support football. Its call comes after Deputy Minister of Youth and Sports, Perry Okujetu, revealed sports was excluded from government 1 billion Ghana cedis stimulus package.
If we are always going to be raising funds from our own pocket, the little we earn from our private businesses into the game, then we are in for trouble. It is time we get the support of government and corporate organizations to make sure that the game will be played the way they want, because all these corporate organizations also try to use the football stars to promote their brands as a vehicle to promote their brands. It is all over. We've seen most of the organizations trying to use football. So it is clear that they must come in to invest in the game so that the game will rise to the level that we all want, and then we will enjoy the fruits of it. What we use our money to do is to pay the boys until you get a transfer fee. You get a boy who goes out there in Europe to be signed on with some good money. All the money you earn with your private business, you are supposed to use it back into the game.
Samuel Imado is a member of the Ghana Football Association's Executive Council. That's your sports.
A few of your messages on our WhatsApp console. This one says, Courage says, all MPs should be quarantined at least 1 month. This one says, I'm surprised at the way Parliament is going about the testing and revealing of the COVID-19 results. We've been talking stigmatization and all, and there is a chance for prominent people in society to show the rest of us that there's no shame in being infected with COVID-19. They are there talking privacy and disclosure, blah, blah, blah. Oh, Ghana. This one says, Honorables, please test and openly share your results. It will help stop stigmatization. Another one has no name. He says, Africans are very fascinating. The British Prime Minister tested positive and voluntarily disclosed his status to the world. African parliamentarians have tested positive and have decided to keep it to themselves. This explains why Africans will continue to beg the West for peanuts. Jawuri in Kumasi. Let's stay with the MPs. The majority leader, Osechi Mensah, is calling for a review of ex gratia payments to members of parliament and is proposing a pension scheme for MPs instead. Now, many current and former MPs, including Mr. Mensah himself, are demanding the payment of an estimated 29 million cedis in ex gratia arrears dating back to 2005. The demand has sparked some public outrage, but the majority leader insists they are entitled to the money. In a yet-to-be-aired interview on PM Express on the Joy News channel later tonight at 9 p.m., Mr. Mensah reveals how many of his colleague former MPs have become paupers and have resorted to begging for handouts from sitting MPs to survive. Listen.
President Mills had no authority to have established that committee in the first place to review that committee's report. And he had no business saying that, well, I can only pay 70%.
You got 70%, isn't that enough?
You are salaried, aren't you?
Yes.
So if you are giving 70% of your salary, that would be okay, because it's near 100%.
Well, because it's coming from a private man. Okay. I'll demand my fair share 100%.
You have to have some conversation.
Is this a fight based on principle for you, or is it a fight for the money?
Really, honestly, my mind was not even on it until the forum of former members of parliament came together and probed into the matter. And it came to the fore that, we have this 30% outstanding.
Do you know how much you are owed yourself?
I don't honestly know. Indeed and in truth, because I belong to that era, if amount should be paid, certainly I also stand to benefit.
How much it doesn't need the money, do you?
Who says? You see the circumstances of this.
So you're not rich?
By no means.
You said it started by the former members of parliament, this petition. Yes. How bad is it? Because I hear stories about how some of them become really financially challenged.
Absolutely.
Is it a bad?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because, you see...
So they become poor?
Pauperized. And that should tell you that Parliament is on a gold mine. Some of them, are held back into the system. But not everybody has an opportunity. And also, if maybe the person comes and then in exiting, he is more or less retiring, what happens? We take care. So it's a real challenge. And he migrates outside, he has it. The next thing you hear is that person has sold his vehicle. The next thing you hear is that he's coming, he's calling you. Please do something for me, otherwise it's bad.
Is that bad?
I'm telling you.
So some of your, because you have the privilege of being here for long, so you've seen a lot of them coming.
I've seen a lot of them. In fact, if I show my phone to you, even yesterday, and it's from all sides.
They still call you?
They still call me.
Asking for what? Handouts?
Asking for survival.
A former member of parliament?
A former member of parliament. Some actually regret. Many of them regret. Many of them regret. And then he comes here and he realizes that really, this is not the environment that he was thinking Parliament is. My recommendation, which is what we were, proposing to the Chile Healthy Committee, was that this payment of gratuity, as far as I'm concerned, we should have a relook. It's not helpful.
What should replace it?
I should think that we should have a pension scheme for members of Parliament.
Okay, so the full interview airs tonight on PM Express on the Joy News channel from 9 p.m. It will also be live on the Joy News Facebook and YouTube platforms, as well as myjournal.com. Hear him explain his pension scheme proposal. Up next is my girl,
Strong and Sassy.
With Strong and Sassy, and there's a very interesting conversation tonight.
Yes, today we're discussing your worst relationship mistakes ever.
Everybody has made one, right?
I know, right?
Everybody.
And some of them just absolutely ruin your relationship. But the question that we want to explore tonight is if we're able to learn from these things and the lessons that we've learned from the mistakes
I'm
that
not
we've
thinking
made.
about it. I don't think I have made any.
I'm sure you have, Evans.
In the mistakes, or sorry, in the relationship.
Yes, in a relationship, at some point in your life, you must have made some mistakes. Actually, I'm sure if we called up your wife, she'll have a very long list of mistakes that you make on the daily. She will, and then seconds the motion.
Okay.
Maybe we should, just to remind you of your mistakes.
You have a death wish for me, Anyway.
I don't.
Anymore is up next with Strong and Sassy. Stay